Okay, so 7.7, it should be kind of like review basically of what we were doing before spring break. Okay, so number 1 says there's 4 circles, each with a different radius. Find the circumference and area. So if you look at these, you should be able to count the radius. You know what I mean? Like it's like a horizontal distance. So for the first one, the radius should be 1. Second one, radius should be 2. Radius is 3, and so on. Okay, so you do that, find the circumference and area, put it in the table, and then you should see some patterns. When you get to 2 through 6, you're just writing ratios. Okay, they tell you here in italics. Remember, a ratio is a comparison between 2 quantities. Okay, so some people like to write it like with a colon, like 1, 2, 1 to 2. Some people will write it like as a fraction, 1 to 2. So either way, just comparison between 2 quantities. They even talk about here like the trigonometric ratios, sine, cosine, and tangent. We just got done with all those. Those are all ratios between the sides. So it's like opposite over hypotenuse, you know. Alright, so for 2 through 6, just make up the numbers. I don't care. You can do it with the real numbers like of boys and girls in our math class. You probably won't know that. So just make up the numbers and write the ratio. Alright, here the set, it's more circumference and area, but it's like sectors. Okay, so 7, they give you the area of a circle. They want you to find the circumference. So what you're going to have to do here is use the area to find the radius. So like if the area is 25, that means the radius. Remember, because area is r squared. So the radius would have to be 5, because the square root of 25 is 5. And then the circumference formula is 2 times the radius times pi. So the circumference of this circle would be 10 pi. So you kind of go backwards. You start with the area, go backwards to find the radius, and then use that radius to find the circumference. Alright, just remember the formulas. If you forgot them, look them up. 8's the same thing, but they give you the circumference. And then you got to use that to find the radius, and then use that to find the area. Alright, when they give you here, then the rest of it's like area of sectors, or like the arc length of a sector. So remember, if it's area, then obviously you're using the area formula, and it's angle divided by 360 times the area, which would be pi r squared. Okay, so this is how you do the area of sectors. Remember the angle, the theta. Remember, that's just a variable for angle. That's going to always be given. Alright. Arc length here. Let's go back to that one real quick. So they're asking you for the radius here. So we know here that area, the area of this sector is going to be equal to the angle over 360 times pi r squared. So in this case, they're actually giving you the area. So that 20 pi is going to go in here. And then you're going to have to do everything you can. And we can do like a live session on these if we need to. But I want you guys to try it. You want to do everything you can to isolate that r. Okay, so we're going to have to undo everything else. So that means first multiplying by a reciprocal on both sides to cancel that. And then dividing by a pi on both sides to cancel that. And then at the very end, there's probably going to be a square root of something involved. Okay? So remember, if you get to the square roots that are irrational, just leave them as a square root. Alright, here, same thing with the circumference. So they talk about arc length. So now you're going to do the same things we just talked about, but instead of that, it's angle over 360 times, oh sorry, we said arc length, change that from C, we're not talking about circumference anymore. So the arc length is going to be equal to the angle over 360, and then now this is times the circumference, which is 2 times pi times r instead of pi r squared. So for these ones, same idea, you're going to take what they give you for the arc length, plug it in on the left side, plug the angle in on the right side. We're going to have to multiply by a reciprocal over here, probably like 360 over 120. You have to multiply by that, and then end up dividing by a 2 and a pi to isolate r. Okay, but again, we're just using our arc length or area of a sector formula, and then plugging what they give us in and isolating what they are asking us for, which in this case, oh shoot, this one they're actually asking you for the area of the circle. So you would still have to do everything we said to get this radius, but then once you get that, you have to plug that in to the area formula that we just used. So we can do a live session for these ones if we need to, but I want you guys to try and do the best as you can. Alright, on the go, so we could also do live sessions for these ones if you guys want. Here, you're finding the area of the darkest shaded region. Okay, so what that means, like for 13, what we're actually looking for is all of these little leftovers, basically. We're looking for that total area. Okay, so it's not like, they're not rectangles, we can't do base times height, they're not triangles, it's like weird shapes. So the way we have to do this is we're going to have to figure out, we know a way to find the area of the whole circle. We know a way to find the area of the circle. And we know a way to find the area of the regular, of the, what's that, a pentagon. We'll just say polygon, because it'll be different every time. So in this one, what we're really trying to do, they're giving you the radius. Notice, radius here is 8, radius here is 10. Okay, so we should be able to easily find that one, pi r squared. Okay, this one should be 64 pi, this one should be 100 pi. Okay, super easy. The hard part now is going to be finding the area of that polygon inside. So like for this one, that means we need to find the area of that regular pentagon and take that area away from that of the whole circle. Okay, so we have ways to find the area of those pentagons, all those regular polygons. They're all regular. That was in the last section, so if you need to look back at those, go for it. And then let me know if you guys want to do a live conference.